the stock market, meaning companies' new highs.
I'm not fucking leaving.
The show goes on.
They're nuts. They know nothing.
An online network called Internet.
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now.
Welcome, my degenerates. The rest of your life starts right now on Market Mania. This is the no bullshit approach to all financial markets, from Bitcoin and darknets and political betting, and of course, focused on the largest casino in the world, the U.S. stock market. I'm your host, Brian Micon, financial genius, Bitcoin class of 2011, and a poker player. Joining me are my fellow degens, Matt Glantz and Brett Ritchie. Glantz traded options on the floor of the Philly Exchange back in the day, and Brett is the head of Blitzpick, coming to a blockchain near you this fall. The whole thing is put together by Tony the producer. And this is Market Mania! Let's get right to it, Tony. We have had yet another bananas, crazy batshit day in the markets again. Matt Glantz, how are you doing today in the options fund?
We're getting wrecked today. We've had a lot of good days in a row, but today we were getting wrecked on the back of FSLY. We're down probably a little over 6% today, coming in short the Nov 140 straddle. And for you guys out there that don't know options so well, we need the stock to be as close to 140 on Nov expiration as possible when we're short that straddle. And now the stock dropped $33 today, down to $90 a share. Went out last night like 123. So we're getting our ass handed to us, and sometimes that happens when you're an options fund. You short a lot of options and short some straddles, strangles. So this is one of those days. FSLY's been one of those huge runners where it's like it was like 10 at the end of the year, and now it was 123 yesterday, now 90. All because they came out with a warning. They have earnings released in 2 weeks, but they came out with a warning last night. Their revenue is going to be a little short. They were expecting like 72 to 75 million. They announced 71 million, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but the stock took a whooping. Basically because 15% of the revenue comes from TikTok, that big app, and Trump's trying to screw them over. So it's all shenanigans. Brad, what's going on with your guys on the FSLY front?
Well, at least one of these Robinhood traders did pretty well on FSLY. The flip side of the coin, when Matt loses money selling options, that means there's somebody on the other side of those trades making money. Tony, let's play this video. We got it going. It is basically a guy making 380K in 30 seconds.
Sailed in about 4K here. FSLY got mollywopped last night and this morning, and then you can see here, this is a screen record, which I encourage users to do right at the market open when Robinhood updates. And Brett, look at that.
I got my work cut out for me to try and beat that.
He sailed in about 4K, 5K or so, it looks like. At some
4,400, I think.
Just way out of the money, expiring in 2 days. FSLY put.
Total YOLO, and that's just, I mean, that's a beautiful win. You gotta love it. Sorry, Matt, but I'm cheering for those guys out there, right? It keeps them coming back to the casino also, right? Those wins, people seeing those kind of wins.
So the stock was 123 last night. You could have bought those 100 puts that expire tomorrow on the close last night for 3 cents, and now they're worth somewhere around $12. Not a bad return.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, kids out there, do not think, I'm going to go try and do this, because it just isn't going to work out. You're going to need a handful of lifetimes to average a big win like this, unless you got the insider info, at which point that's technically illegal, but you can print it up like that. Anyway, moving along to the biggest news of really all markets and all news sites today was this Facebook story, something, Biden, Hunter Biden. What exactly happened here?
So I never would have followed this story if the social media giants didn't ban it. It's complete Streisand effect. I can't care less about Hunter Biden or Ukraine or her email, like any of these like stories that go kind of viral within the base of these parties. I don't care about. But this story really got my attention because Facebook and Twitter stopped people sharing this New York Post article. They were banning accounts or suspending them. And you couldn't share this article, which is basically that Joe Biden may have lied about meeting one of these people from the company Hunter Biden was getting $50K a month for. Matt, what do you think about this?
I mean, guys, this is America. It's capitalism. Your dad's the vice president or the president, and somebody offers you a big job or some, big consulting fee. You're going to take it. This is America. Trump's kids would do the same. My kids would do the same. Your kid would do the same. It's just the way America is. If you don't like it, it's reality. So, people are going to do it. It does. If he did something, wrong to hurt the country, that's a different story. But nobody's even accusing him of that.
But the story here was the censorship, right?
Influence. Yeah, I'll say this. If it was Trump and Don Jr., they would have flagged it as a must read. It would have been the complete opposite, I think, is what people are upset about. It's complete. It looks like just partisan bias, and they're trying to manipulate the election. From
the perspective of the social media operators, it looks like they would have let this story go if it was about the Republicans, but because it's about the Democrats, they kind of censored. I think that's what everyone's in an uproar about, which may or may not be true, but it does seem like that.
Market's unchanged, right? This dude, was it? Did he get the bump here, or was it unchanged?
It came back down, but I think he got a little bump. I mean, as Matt can attest to, there's a lot of strong Biden money out there. So it's going to be hard to see Trump go on a run without a really big event to change the race. This isn't it. I still think it's like maybe a tiniest of boosts to Trump. It makes the Democrats and social media look bad. But at the end of the day, no one's changing their vote based on this.
Bananas. The overarching arm of Big Brother coming down in the form of social media restrictions on disseminating a story. Got to love our boring dystopia and how it is evolving. The press has been lazy for years and allowed this choose your own echo chamber bullshit. But now, you need to follow by the rules. You need to play by the rules.
Vote Biden or else.
So, moving along to the biggest story in crypto. This is from the ICO era, and this is crazy that this just happened today. Filecoin. A lot of people remember a multi-$100 million ICO, and it's finally here, baby. We finally get Filecoin. This is something that if anybody is really following the space, StoreJ tried to go after it. Sia Coin tried to go after this space too. Neither of which could produce some nice Dropbox-like, actually works client to actually use this thing. But Filecoin looks like it might. This thing, maybe it takes 4 or 5 years or 4 years to cook one of these up. Brett Ritchie, I know you're following this space close. What?
Yeah.
What is this?
It's nice to see this finally come to market. It's going after a really big target. As you mentioned, storage, Sia Coin, Golem is another one going after the decentralized storage space. And we'll see what happens with Filecoin. They had a ton of support behind them. Obviously, they raised $200 million. So far, nobody has solved this problem. Their mainnet just launched today. Again, it's too early to tell how well Filecoin has done. I will say this, Tony, if you go to the CoinGecko chart, there's some insanity going on with Filecoin here. So very little of the supply is circulating right now, about 14 million of 2 billion coins. Those 14 million coins have a market cap of over $1 billion, 1.3 billion. The entire market cap of Filecoin right now, because all these other coins are in a lockup, is 190 billion or something like that. There's some enthusiasm for Filecoin, but this is just completely nuts. It's still unproven. It just launched. It's now number 2 behind Bitcoin. I expect this to come down pretty rapidly, especially when the lockup periods start expiring.
Has anybody tried to use this thing? Because that's what I always try to use something whenever it comes out, and then in crypto world, most of the time it's just
I'm gonna check it out tonight. I haven't gotten to it.
I'm gonna play.
They say there's a ton of terabytes or petabytes of storage available already. You could basically take all the written words and a bunch of videos and movies is ready to be stored now. So we'll see. And you can sell and rent your computing power too as part of it. So if you're going to work, you can it's like an Airbnb for computer aspect where you could, sounds cool, but we'll see if it works. And is that going to make money on the electricity you're spending?
Most of the crypto space is shenanigans. There are a couple of gems in here. We'll see if Filecoin works. And I'm looking at you, Augur. make that shit work. Needs to work. That's a big thing that a lot of people forget in these projects. Got to ship something that works. All right. Moving along, the jobless claims jump. Matt Glantz, I know that was probably one of the factors weighing on the market today. What do you got?
I don't know. I think Brett's been interested in that one. So is that Tony's?
Yeah,
Tony,
I wanted to
it's
pop in
Tony's
and talk about
turn.
this one, guys, because I just last week talked about unemployment. I was showing some boring charts, but these charts are getting a little less boring as each week goes on. What I found astonishing about this article, though, is it said, 890,000, almost a million Americans filed new unemployment claims last week. This first paragraph says, an unexpected rise in new claims. Who is this unexpected to? Who didn't see this coming? Is there anybody on Earth that doesn't see this economic apocalypse we're descending into? Does anybody actually think our economy is growing? I think they look at the stock market and they think, hey, things are going great, but things are not. Let's separate those two once and for all. What do you think, Matt? I mean, you're seeing the stock market grow, but this can't keep happening in the stock market if the reality on the ground is this.
The stock market and the economy are two different things. I've said that maybe 100 times to different people over the last 6 months. People are eventually going to get it. The stock market can keep going up. People can keep losing their jobs, and people can keep, going on unemployment and needing money to be subsidized. But the stock market is a totally different entity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it will catch up eventually. I mean, Brett, how would you play just the big short when the stock market finally catches up? Any thoughts on that?
See, the problem with that, I think, is there's this pretty significant chance, even post-election, of this massive stimulus package. So, and a lot of that money is going to find its way into the market. So I think that you're sort of playing with fire to short this market, even if it makes a ton of sense. If you're seeing all these business closures, people out of work, I expect, especially like people are saying, if the Democrats sweep, they're going to put this massive stimulus in play.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, Trump wants to do it too. I think either way, unless it's contested, we're going to see a big stimulus.
The classic battle, the medals holder and ammunition holder saying it's coming.
It's coming.
You can't get away with this stuff.
You can't time it.
And the money printer. And
then you can't. You don't have enough to pay those premiums. You don't come out positive on the other end.
That's right.
And then there are just going to keep the money printer will continue to go. It's just going to happen.
Love that button.
Case in point.
See you, boys.
Case. Thank you, Tony, for the macro minute. We do appreciate it. It's a jobless claims. Now, on to scams. Nikola, the lockup period is going to expire soon. I believe we have 6 weeks. When's the date? What did we get a date on this?
November 30th.
November 30th. Nikola lockup expires. Now, I believe it's always difficult to ascertain exactly who's locked up here. Is this Trevor Milton, now ousted from the company, just sitting on a couple billy worth of this stock? And just imagine the guy that buys the biggest house in Utah, and like the only revenue from the company is them installing the solar panels on the roof of it. Imagine that guy's not just hovering the sell button right now. He's already got the shares locked and loaded. They're on Robinhood. He doesn't use a real brokerage. He just loads that shit onto Robinhood, and he's just ready to sell as soon as it gets it to him. I don't know. I mean, Brett, what do you think? What's going to happen?
It's been crazy to be long on this stock at any point in the last few months as these stories came out, unless you're just swing trading news somehow. If you're really like that deep into the weeds, that you could think you can profitably do that. But if you're holding this as like a long-term profitable play, then we're not looking at the same thing. So same advice as I've given is get the hell out of this stock.
Matt Glantz, you've seen this 100 times in your career. I mean, lockup period's coming. I mean, what do you expect here?
Yeah, lockups provide a lot of supply to stock, so it's tough. The supply demand quotient of stocks is a pretty risky scenario. Even more closly than that's November 30th for Nikola, but next week we have DraftKings has a huge lockup, 200 or 300 million shares locked up, coming off lockup. So all the insiders can sell mostly for the first time. So that one's going to be tough coming into next week. That's
DraftKings is a long journey. That started in 2011, maybe.
A lot of people really looking to get out next week.
No matter how bullish you are, on DraftKings still, you're probably going to sell some. You've been invested that long. You've worked there. You put money in a long time ago. You're going to want to cash some out no matter what.
As an investor, you do not want to be long stocks leading up to a end of a lockup period. That is for sure.
We saw this with Beyond Meat, where I followed this very closely because that's another company that I just don't get the valuation. Just seems wrong. Zoom is that way. Peloton's that way to me. And Nikola, certainly. And I've seen Beyond Meat recovered from their lockup when their lockup period ended, I believe last year. And it continued on to fight. I mean, it's just still, it's touching almost new. That's not quite all-time highs, if I recall. I think it was in the 230s or something in some such shenanigans. And they did a shenanigans secondary offering. They were just trying to cash that equity out. But that's what's going to happen again here, Nikola. I think that there are going to be that sell pressure, that new supply that Matt talked about. It's a supply and demand game, as he keeps saying. So buckle up for the end of November if there is a tomorrow after the election. Yeah. Moving along. Put that tone Vays up because this guy needs to be demolished. He's just, you can only take so much. And one of the guys that the crypto world for some reason put on is this douchebag named Tone Vays. He's actually not even like a particularly bad guy, it doesn't seem, but it does the ideas he has and the stuff he puts out, and the reason why people amplify this is just batshit. No idea why people +1 this, and someone's got to say something about it. No one else. Everyone's afraid to say something negative about anybody else these days. This guy is absolutely ridiculous. I wouldn't buy the dip because the drop zone is now 11,000. This is just, you could just say anything. You could just call anybody and make up. It's like after a football game when just like, oh, well, the other team was good. We got to practice hard. We respect their coach, but we got to play tough. We got to, persevere. Got to get good penetration on the line. I mean, you're not saying anything. Oh, I wouldn't short it here. He's been a forever bull for like years. And the whole upshot of Tone Vays' entire personality is to get you to buy some multi-$1,000 an hour consulting. That's the point of this. It's not to inform you, the idiot public, oh, here's some free information just because I'm a nice guy. No. Pump the followers, pump the classmates. If anybody's printing it up, trading. Matt Glantz, how many traders do you know? Trading anything. They're just printing it up. They got a winning formula. They know how to make money in it. How many do you know that say, oh, I have a winning formula. I'm going to share it with you?
I mean, you'll see people claim that all over Twitter, but it's never true. Ever. They're just trying to sell subscriptions to something.
Anybody with a winning sports pick system, guess what they're going to do? What are they going to do, Brett Ritchie? You can beat sports. You know what's going to happen. What are you going to do?
They're going to bet it. But I will say this. This reminds me of the great Master P quote, cowards run their mouth, but killers don't talk. Okay. That applies in this scenario, right? If you're telling everyone how great you are, selling your information. I mean, we know some of these really big crypto traders, and like they're barely active on Twitter, right? They just shut the fuck up and print the money.
Yeah, that's what happened in poker. That's what happened in stocks, and that's what happens in crypto. It's the same shit. And that anybody that said, I'm going to teach you, there's actually like a couple, there's one or two real ones, but it's barely, that Run It Up and the Deuces Cracked people. There's a couple of ones that I can remember in life, but it's just so rare that you can almost ignore them and not miss much.
So the chat just asked by the DraftKings dip. Before we get to picks of the day, I just want to touch on that really quickly. Matt, tell me if you agree with me. Don't buy this dip till post lockup. Let some of these people dump their stocks. If you are bullish on DraftKings long term, wait a bit. I don't know. Matt can maybe advise on timeline, but wait till some of these lockup people dump their stocks, and then you can buy back in if you like the stock.
Generally, I'd wait till 2 or 3 days after the lockup period's over, 2 or 3 trading days. Let the insiders sell their stock. When it starts basing, then you get in, and then you can take it along from there.
And with that, it's a good time to mention this is not investment advice. Nothing that we're saying is. It might sound like it, but it's not. Make sure to read the hat. That's the real truth here. Safety glasses on. Not investment advice. Hat locked and loaded. We are here for the Market Mania pick of the day. Oh, right. There it is. Pick of the day. It's a fast-paced, no bullshit, no waiting. Matt Glantz, what is your pick of the day today?
All right, Sorrento Pharmaceuticals, COVID stock, 990 at 6 p.m. today on Jim Cramer's Mad Money Show. The CEO from Sorrento is going to be on there. So usually they, say something positive and run it up in the after hours. So if you get in now, sell it tomorrow.
The pump and dump. Gotta love it. Not investment advice. Brett Ritchie, what is your pick of the day?
I'm going to short Gollum GNT, the crypto GNT. It is one of those original storage coins. It's 5 years later. It still doesn't really work. You have Filecoin launching today. I think any of these Filecoin, Storage, Sia, Gollum are good shorts. The valuation is just way higher than where the technology is today. But Gollum would be the specific pick.
All right. And my pick of the day, we're going to go with Zoom Short. Just can't take it anymore. $150 billion for the app that we are using now. It keeps going up every day. It's Zoom, right? Everybody's in Zoomtopia right now. And, shooters keep shooting. If you really believe in a thesis, then, you stick with it. And I don't know when we're going to, it might stay irrational longer than I can stay liquid. That's the old adage, but hey, enough is enough sometimes. And this is more than enough.
Micah, let me know when we stop using Zoom for the show.
All righty then. I will get to you when that happens. Matt Glantz. All right. This has been another wonderful episode of Market Mania. We do appreciate it when all you guys tune in because, we need that kind of validation. It really, really fuels it. So I know the world is pretty fucked up today. We know we got this election. Everybody's screaming and, clawing at each other on the old Facebooks and the medias. But I take solace in some of the words that Scarface, great modern day rap poet of our time, said. You wanna be, gonna be, cocksucking, pussy-eating pranksters. When the fire dies down, what the fuck you gonna do? Damn, it feels good to be a gangsta. Please like and subscribe to Market Mania on the YouTube and the Twitter, and we'll see you tomorrow. If there is a tomorrow. But for now, it's lights out.
Come on, I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Come on, I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Come on, I never sleep if I don't have. I never sleep. Come on, I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Time to right the wrong. So your hands in the air if you like the song. If you're going over there, take it twice as long. Last time ain't talking about Tylenol. Oh, I bet you'd like to know. You can come around the way if you're trying to go. If you want to switch lanes for a pot of gold, never domino, out of control. The usual. Get mad cause I'm looking at your girl. Switch it up. I do it so much louder than everything you've heard. Everybody heard, got the word that the world wasn't turning. Act like you're in a jury. However, turn it, wow, we're turning. Can't a lie like Mississippi burning. Don't act like you're in a daze. I imagine should've looked the other way. Couldn't clear space, and my mind was afraid of the time. Strobe lights like in the moonlight. I'm in the mood right now, how about tonight?